host us. That's why we are sitting there. I'll quickly introduce my my institute, starting with the rationale why it was actually established. I think we all know about the surface water issues and how prominent they are, and it is actually generally believed that there is less focus on groundwater. So there's a rationale why SADC-GMI was established, which focuses on different reasons, one of them being that the livelihood, ecosystems, etc. are hinged on groundwater. It is also generally believed that 70% of the population in the SADC region relies on groundwater, and also, strangely, only about 1.5% of the potential groundwater, renewable groundwater resources are utilized. It is also known that groundwater is not granted the popularity or the prominence that it deserves. I think we all know how groundwater is generally not spoken about. And I'll show you a map later which shows that there are about 30 transboundary aquifers in the region and about 14 to 15 transboundary surface water systems that are actually structured institutionally within the region. And the challenges that are experienced with groundwater are similar to those that are experienced with surface water. However, there is less focus on groundwater. It is also noted that in the RSAP4, which is the Regional Strategic Action Plan, Phase 4, for 2016 to 2020, groundwater is actually given serious prominence by the SADC organ, and hence we are trying to achieve those objectives. It is also noted that there's necessity to cooperate on transboundary aquifers. Due to time, some of the slides you can read through as I go. I'm trying to, this slide, highlight identity of SADC-GMI. We are a not-for-profit company registered in South Africa under the Companies Act number 71 of 2008, as amended, of course. And we are also a subsidiary structure of SADC, as I mentioned earlier on, and we also implement projects. I'll go through these different identities in some little more detail. As a company registered in South Africa, those are the objectives and powers of the company, which looks at raising awareness, obviously to try and change the fortunes of groundwater from the current scenario, and also to build, to do research. And what we are doing here is part of the research component of groundwater. As a subsidiary structure of SADC, that is a verbatim extract from the RSAP4, which defines exactly what we're supposed to do, which looks at awareness raising as well, research, and supporting national focal groups. So even though we are sitting in South Africa, we are working with all the 15 SADC member states, and we travel across the region to execute our mandate. This is an overview of the institutional support mechanisms that we have around us. The SADC Secretariat, as indicated, is our mother, and then we are hosted by the University of the Free State, the Institute of Groundwater Studies, and then we also have what we call the subcommittee on hydrogeology. This subcommittee is represented by each of the 15 SADC member states, because there are 16 now. Tomorrow's joining the SADC family at the meeting that was held earlier this week, last week. So there are now 16 members, and then from that subcommittee on hydrogeology, we also link up to the bigger family through the Water Resource Technical Committee, which is the committee of senior government officials in the water sector, and then we link it up to the water ministers, water and energy ministers, because of the nexus approach, and then it goes up until it reaches SADC. So this is how we are anchored within the region. Currently, we are implementing a work project, which is running until the 30th of June 2019, which is next year. We expect a no-cost extension, of course, which we have not yet been granted. And this is actually funded through a grant from the Global Environment Facility and the CIWA. And this project is actually the reason why we are here today. That's why we are getting funding for this specific project that we are funding. This highlights our key approaches to our work, which is similar to what I highlighted earlier on. And we have got partners, many partners that we work with. These include USAID. That's why we're here. Actually, we went into this partnership because we are working together with USAID on different initiatives, including this one. We also had some work with USAID on the wrestling, as well as we are looking forward to the Resilient Futures, Resilient Waters project. We were involved in discussing in terms of reference level, and we are really excited that we have a follow-up that will also contribute to our work. We work with the Water Research Commission, the Africa Groundwater Network, GIZ, WaterNet, UNESCO IFP, all the RDOs, and this is just a sample of our partners. As I mentioned, we've got almost 30 transboundary aquifers in the region, and by transboundary aquifer, it falls in no man's land. That's the language you normally use. And if you look at most of them, there's been some work done in either of the states or some of the states, but not as an integrated piece of work. Currently, we are working on the Shire Basin. Fortunately, it's being done by IMI, and they are working on Mozambique and Malawi, and that project is actually going well. So those, in addition to that, we also have some work going on in Ramotswa, which is supported, of course, by USAID, and we also have some work supported by SDC in the Stampede. So other than that, the holistic work that is done across transboundaries is only 3 out of 30, so that's about 10% of it. So the scope of work is actually really enormous, and it explains why we are really interested to have innovative ways of getting information. Our interest as SADC-GMI is not necessarily the data, but the information that comes out of the data. Because we want to go to our politicians and tell them, we've got this amount of water that you can potentially exploit within this transboundary aquifer. But of course that comes from data. That's why we need you to help us to get information and decision-making information that we hand over to our constituencies. So in this case, I'm actually highlighting some of the work that we've done in terms of research to try and understand more the dynamics of groundwater and how we can make groundwater a resource that can support the ever-aggravating climate change scenarios that we are faced with at the moment. We also work on capacity building in different ways. We train on international water law, groundwater modeling, managed aquifer recharge, effective bore drilling, and many other subjects that could be of interest. So you are welcome. And we are also working with the AU NEPAD, Southern African Network on Water Centers of Excellence, Sanwatse, of which some of the universities sitting here are members. And we believe that through this connection, we have access to researchers that can give us information. Yes. This is not mine, so that's a little bit about SADC-GMI. We are really excited that we are getting to innovation that will give us more information. Our policy is to get more and more information that we can sell to our constituents. Thank you very much.